They're fickle.
Yo, what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host, the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and your champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I am joined, as always, by the best of the West you can't forget about. Sara Marshall was popping, girl.
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hey, yo. How we doing?
Did you see my tweet today of quoting Mr. Skaha?
I did. It's one of the topics that we're going to be talking about.
Yes. I was surprised at how much positive feedback I was getting. Last I looked, it had like 60 likes, and I was like,
it's because you know your fucking ball. That's why. You know your shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's an iconic moment.
I know.
It's an iconic moment in wrestling. And it's what we are basically living in right now, is a historic era in wrestling right now with what's going on. Yeah, obviously the easy answer is with WWE and John Cena and WrestleMania. But as a whole, you know, AEW just being better is huge. You have TNA partnering with WWE and continuing that partnership, you know, weekly. It seems like Masha Slamovich was at NXT this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the indies getting bigger and better every day. So, you know, it's a great time, Sara. It's just a great time. Like, I feel like for a few months we were just excited to be going, you know, to Vegas for Mania.
Yeah.
We weren't excited for the actual event itself. We were more excited for the trip, you know, the shit we have planned, and not the actual event. Actually, the actual event was making us sad because of ticket prices or whatnot.
Yeah.
But now after this week, they shot in a whole new life.
You know what I was thinking?
Wrestling fans. What?
So, assuming we're not going to the actual event, obviously.
Yeah.
If we do go out, I was
Correct.
thinking we need to get like external batteries for our phone, because it would be pretty fun to like
100%.
live stream as we're like.
I would take clips. I would take clips.
I would say you could even just do it the whole time. Be live the whole time
if you wanted.
I don't know. We'll see.
I see that you're like I would love to, but my ADD brain and
But you don't have to pay
how
attention
I am
if we're just sitting there reacting.
That's true. See, I don't think of that. I just zone out, or zone out to zone in. You know, because
you'll have to remember too, like, well, if we're at a bar or a restaurant or whatever, like, we'll have food and drinks, and there will be other people there. So like, and there's breaks in between matches, so that's when you can, like, you know, talk to people and whatever. I don't know. Just because we had mentioned, like, if we stayed in, that we could live stream and watch along with everybody. So I'm like, well, no, I guess we could still do that if we went out too.
Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen. I mean, there's gonna be watch parties for sure, and I mean we're in Las Vegas, you know, for Mania, so it's gonna be a fun time. I'm excited, cannot wait. Let's just hear from the peeps. Let's hear from the peeps before we get into our favorite segment of the week. Nathaniel, get ready for my Lakers to blow out the Celtics by 50 points Saturday in overrated TD Garden. That's not the adjective I'd use, Nathaniel.
Okay. Well, I would say if the Celtics have the same starting lineup on Saturday as they do tonight, you probably would blow them out by 50 points. But I assume that's not going to be the case, because it's like all of their starters are down tonight against the Sixers. So,
really?
Well, most of them are like questionable, but it's like
Horford. Not playing?
Huh? I think I think Tatum might be playing.
Yeah.
But I know that like Horford and let me double check. You can move on and I can get it up.
All
Just
right.
because people don't like it when we talk about sports, but whatever.
I'm actually tweeting out the link to the YouTube.
Oh, okay. Wait, didn't he? I swear he talked about it. Oh, it's not him. It's somebody else. Anyway, I don't know. There's a bunch of Celtics that aren't playing tonight. So, oh, it was him. It's him. That's who it is. Okay. Unavailable tonight. Okay, yeah, no, Tatum's playing. This is the starting lineup. Tatum, White, Drew Peterson, Luke Cornett, and Kada. Is that how you say?
Yeah.
Kada? Yeah, that's the starting lineup because of how many people are out.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when you hear Cornett in the starting lineup, that's just...
That's when you know it's bad. Let's see. I'll move on for you.
Yeah, thank you.
David says, "What's up?" Nathaniel says he hopes that the Patriots get DK. I don't think it's happening. Definitely not for a first and a third. That's for sure.
I'm not. Yeah, no.
I would say if it was a pure third, sure. A second is kind of pushing it. However, if they like sent the 38th and maybe got another pick in return from Seattle, it's not terrible.
No.
David says, hey. Bernard says, hey.
Bernard, give me
Dylan,
2K. Bernard, give me
Dylan
give me 2K.
Here.
Fuck the giveaway. I want 2K.
Also,
what's poppin', Dylan?
The Hassan Tahir show. What is up?
It's Jackie Chan, motherfucker.
Whoa. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in.
I'm obsessed with the profile. That's awesome. That's great. All right. Well, let's continue the show with our favorite segment of the week.
Don't be a lemon. Be a rosebud.
Don't be a lemon, Sarah. Be a rosebud. It is time for Sarah and I to give our favorite and least favorite things that we saw in wrestling this week. Rosebuds being the favorite and lemons being the least favorite. Sarah, I want to hear what your favorite thing in wrestling is this week, because you told me I'd have to wait and find out.
Oh, yeah. So I think the John Cena heel turn, the joining up with The Rock, this massive main event with Cody Rhodes for WrestleMania. Obviously, Mania being in Las Vegas, like that already makes it one of the biggest WrestleManias ever, right? I mean, they say this every year, but this is the current one. So it's like, yes, this is the biggest one ever. So you know that they're going to be trying to do as much as they possibly can to like make us feel that way, just like they did last year. And they're already kind of trying to do that because Stone Cold Steve Austin has said that they have reached out to him, and we don't know in what capacity, but he kind of said that he would be there for Cody, which I am like obsessed with, because like when you think about top people in their respective careers and the type of characters that they are in wrestling, I don't know that you could think of anybody more polar opposite than Stone Cold Steve Austin and Cody Rhodes, because both have been baby faces in their careers, but Stone Cold was never pandering to the crowd. He was never squeaky clean. He was never wearing a suit, but like that is everything that Cody Rhodes is. So I love the idea of him potentially like coming out and being in his corner. And it obviously it's mostly because The Rock is there, but I also kind of like the idea of him not being in Cody's corner, only because like that's kind of badass. Like, what a twist.
No.
I'm not saying that that's what it should be, but I'm saying
no, but you're saying what a twist. Okay. It would be.
Because he doesn't have any connection, because he was not there last year for Mania 40 like we thought he was going to be.
No, it's deeper. It's more of a deeper connection in the sense that it's fighting authority,
which he knows a thing or two about.
It's like, and it's the Rock rivalry that Stone Cold and The Rock had at WrestleMania's trilogies, the WrestleMania trilogies that they had. So I want to see it. You know, if that's the case, and we are, I mean, not going to be there, I won't experience it live, which would suck, especially
Hearing the
after last
glass
year.
chatter.
It's the only thing in wrestling that I have not really experienced at a WWE show.
Me
Because
neither.
we got the gong last year.
We got The Rock.
I saw The Rock live.
I saw The Rock before. I saw The Rock live when he was against Cena at Mania. So it was like when he was wearing the boots to asses shirt.
Oh,
so that was
I
like
didn't go to
2011,
2012. No,
but,
I didn't go to those shows. So I saw The Rock wrestle and win.
Mm-hmm.
That getting the win in this is huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously Cena. I was there for Big E's cash. You know, just like little big memories and things that you remember, like a cash in, not just specifically Big E's, but like you were there for a Money in the Bank cash.
I haven't. Yeah,
I was there for a Money in the Bank match. You know, I saw War Games. Like, there's just specific things that you remember, and it's like, oh yeah, I can check that off the list.
Yeah,
hearing the glass shatter should be on everybody's.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that. Like, I've seen Brock Lesnar. I saw
seen Brock.
Yeah, I saw the match between him and Triple H. I have seen a cash in, actually. Randy Orton on Daniel Bryan. So I have been there for a couple like iconic moments, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never been there for Austin. Obviously by the time I was able to go to wrestling shows, like he had already retired. So I don't expect to see that, but it would be really cool to see him involved in this story, especially because we thought he was going to be involved in it last year and he wasn't, which I don't think that we were sitting there being like, oh, Austin would have made this so much better. Like, he wasn't missing from it because, especially since they had the Undertaker.
No, yeah, it made sense.
It
made sense. It was a good replay. It was
an
equal 1-1.
Yeah, I think it would be cool if he could be involved this year somehow. Just because it's kind of a different thing too. I mean, I really enjoyed what he and Kevin Owens did, you know, and that was kind of like, you didn't think that was going to happen. And then him showing up in Cody's corner, that's not something that we would expect to happen. So I feel like that is kind of, I don't know, another aspect to like look forward to potentially.
Yeah, I'm with you. It would be very interesting. Yeah, we gotta, I'm going to say my Rosebud is, it's not something about the product, but it's the interaction that I'm getting for my tweet responding to what Bishop
I saw. It was like one of your like more,
which finally we're getting some interaction, Sarah.
Well, I told you, I think part of the problem is like you're at an age where you're not like obsessively online, you know, because I think if you were like tweeting like dozens and dozens of times a day and like, because you see that one guy, I don't know what his name is, but there's this one guy who literally responds to like every single WWE tweet, every Sean Ross Sapp tweet. It's like he's on every single one. Yeah, it's like if you had the time to do that, then you would amass a following like a lot quicker. But
we're growing. We are growing. I'm and my Rosebud from that is that I'm loving the chaos in the comment section. You know, I agree with what I said. I didn't just say it to throw it out there and just cause the chaos, but I love the fact that what I say is causing, you know, uproar in the, you know, comments being like, oh, it did happen. It is bigger. You're so wrong, all that. And
which
it's
comment
not taking
are you talking about?
What comment am I talking? I'm talking about my tweet about, was Hogan. It was, it wasn't the reaction that Hulk got. And I said, was Hogan's turn talked about on ESPN and other national news outlets, Eric, just being snarky. And it's all these people saying like, you know, WCW tripled their ratings. He meant the live crowd actually watched the clip, was from the reset button, which I'll push your buttons right now and say that the live crowd is equally as significant. The only difference is that we don't live in an era where you can throw trash in the ring.
I do think that the elimination crowd what Elimination Chamber crowd was nothing compared to the WCW crowd, but
exactly different era. Like that's like that WCW crowd is more on the side of ECW, AEW type crowd where they are so passionate that they take it to that next level, where WWE fans, they take it to another level, but it's not the next level.
Well, and I think this is why I said I don't love the comparison. I get why it's being compared, obviously. But I don't think that Hogan was in the same situation as John Cena. People hadn't been begging Hogan to turn heel for over a decade when he did. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of felt like that guy was going to be the poster of professional wrestling forever, and that he was still always going to be the guy telling your kids to take their vitamins and, like, you know, whatever. People have been begging for Cena to turn heel for 13, 14, 15 years. So, like, it's not going to get the same reaction because, yes, people were obviously shocked that Cena turned, but at the same time, you've been thinking about wanting to see that happen. People did not go into Bash at the Beach, right? And thinking 96. That Hogan was going to be the third member. Like, that was the last thing on people's mind because you never thought that Hogan was going to do that. So it's like, that's going to get a way bigger reaction than the Cena thing.
It's not only that, because yes, you're right, but also it was a move to save WCW, where this move wasn't to save WWE, it was to add more spice to the already spicy product. And it was an over-the-top move that, like the Hogan one, you didn't see coming, but also the difference. It's a difference. You know, it's another side that's, you know, it's more I don't know.
I think different. There's also, we went into it feeling differently too, because we already knew, because everybody knows and like speculates about everything because of the internet.
Different. Social media. That's it. It's social media that is the whole other.
People went into Elimination Chamber being like, whoever wins the Elimination Chamber is probably going to join The Rock. So like, you kind of went into it already preparing, like, all right, we think Cena or Punk are probably winning the Elimination Chamber, and whoever wins is going to go and be against Cody Rhodes and side with The Rock. So again, you were already kind of mentally prepared to see that, even if it being Cena still shocked you. You know what I mean?
Thinking that Cena was like what you're saying, like whoever won, and Cena wins. Well, a lot of people I heard too were saying that Cody was going to. You know, we even talked about it here, that it was the potential that Cody would sell his soul, and who better to do it against than John Cena. So it, like, in that regard, it was the ultimate just 180 to the fans.
Yeah, it was so different with Hogan. It's like he turned on Warrior before the match was even over. Like, no one was going into that being like, oh, before this match is over or by the end of the match, we're going to see Hogan and he's going to be in the black and white. Like, no, that's not what happened. So I don't know. I think it's like, again, like a fair comparison as far as like, oh my gosh, that was like crazy. Like, those are big moments, but it's not on the same level. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but
I love it. Keep the chaos coming. I love it. And I will fire from the hip. Don't you worry. I'm locked and loaded. Sarah, what's got you locked and loaded sad?
It's like, it kind of makes me more mad, I feel like, than it makes me sad. And that is seeing that WWE LFG has been renewed for a second season, and they booted Mickie James in favor of Michelle McCool.
That's called, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Well, and Fightful put out there that The Undertaker was a reason for this. Although they're
exactly what I just said. Like,
yes, but in the same breath are claiming that he did not advocate for Mickie to be booted. He just said, oh, I'd be cool with Michelle being a coach on the show as well.
Yeah, because he was thinking fifth person.
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't really know what to believe, honestly, because I feel like WWE has done Mickey dirty like time and time again. So it's really hard for me to completely believe that like this wasn't intentional or wasn't some sort of slight to Mickey, because at the same time, like you said, they very easily could have brought her in as a fifth person, or I don't know, maybe boot Bully or Booker T, like, and have 2 women and 2 men instead of it being 3 men and 1 woman. You know,
Yeah,
like
I'd boot Booker. Man,
Booker has
I don't know what.
Oh, Booker and Bully have wrestling schools, right?
A majority of like the veterans have their own.
Or I
wrestling
mean, worst
schools.
case scenario, right? Put the 2 women together. Have Mickey and Michelle do
Honestly,
a thing
yeah,
together.
like do it. Yeah, I don't see an issue with that.
Well, and like you said, if you added a fifth, that just means you get more up and coming wrestlers on the show. That means that there are more women being represented, because there was one girl on the show, and I don't remember who it was. I just read the quote, who was talking about how she was taking Mickey's coaching and her feedback a lot more to heart because she is a female wrestler. So it's not like she was dismissing what the other coaches were saying simply because they were male, but obviously they don't understand what it's like to be a woman in a male dominated business and how it is to wrestle as a woman and all of the different things that they need to do and or overcome to like make it in the industry. So it just bums me out that their decision was to boot her off and just replace her. And you know, and it's not even like I'm not saying anything against Michelle, because I did enjoy watching her. She's one of the very few women during the Divas era that I like didn't hate watching in the ring. But
I know what you mean.
when you think about the history between her and Mickey, let's not forget Piggy James and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she's.
I know, it's just like then you see this. And it's like immediately you go back to flashbacks of like, oh yeah, of course this happened because you fucking hate her and you bullied her. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that that's what's happening, but it's just a really unfortunate thing. Because I feel like Mickey deserves to be recognized for how much she brought to wrestling, and also let's not forget that kind of shit that she was being a part of. Like they had a whole storyline calling her a pig to the point of Layla dressing up like Mickey in a pig costume, and Mickey wasn't even fat, but Vince thought she was.
That's what always confused me. Like I know that's the one thing I never got from the whole angle, was that she wasn't a big girl.
No, but she was just like not as fit as like Michelle. But like, who was as fit as Michelle? She's like 6 feet tall and like 100 pounds. Like,
yeah, she should model for a magazine with that body.
It's insane. So I don't know. It seems like it's gotten a lot of blowback. And it's not even, and the thing that I appreciate, at least from what I've seen, is the negative feedback has nothing to do with Michelle. Like nobody is saying like, oh, Michelle sucks, I can't believe she's doing this.
Yeah, which is
all
good.
It's all in support of Mickey. So I would like to think that maybe that response might maybe like change their opinion or change their decision. I don't know. But I just was bummed about that. Just felt kind of sucky. Especially she was involved in the first season and is probably part of the reason why they're getting a second season. So I don't get it.
My lemon is AEW, is something to do with AEW this week. I love what they're doing on the Road to Revolution. It really does seem that they've upped their game with WWE upping the game. So it is good for wrestling. And one of the better feuds that they're doing is Ricochet versus Swerve. I'm a big fan of it. You know, it's been a very interesting rivalry and whatnot. And last night they had their contract signing for their match at AEW Revolution. Winner is the number 1 contender for the title. Swerve comes out, yada 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 yada. Ricochet comes out in a suit and an Eagles hat. Okay, he's a Birds fan. I mean, I don't like the look, but I'm not going to judge someone's fashion. That's their look. And the segment goes on. Fantastic segment. It's insane how well Ricochet does on the mic to what he was being used, like the time he was getting on that. Like they should use him more. At the end of the segment, they make a callback to the scissors that Ricochet stabbed Swerve with.
Mm-hmm.
Ricochet was going to come up behind Swerve and sneak attack him with the scissors. Swerve grabs the arm, goes into his own jacket, and pulls out scissors by himself to then stab Ricochet in the head with the scissors.
Oh, jeez Louise.
See, here's the thing. That none of that is my lemon. My lemon is, why is he wearing the hat if you knew that he's going to get stabbed in the head?
Was it maybe to like protect his head? I don't know.
No, like the whole, so like in the thing, like I'll demonstrate it here. So he has it like this, or similarly worn. And when he goes to do it, he has to flick the hat off.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just not have the hat in general?
I don't know.
I thought
that's why he was in AEW. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, like yeah, obviously. But like I don't get why you did that. Like maybe it's such a minute detail and I'm just overly criticizing it. But to me, that was the only thing out of the whole segment. I'm like, what the hell? Like that makes no sense. You know, and the show last night was pretty good. It really was, but I just
no, really I mean I get it. It feels kind of like just little details like that don't feel like they were well thought out. You know,
exactly. Yeah, like it's the little details like that wouldn't have those mistakes wouldn't have been made in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I see a few people with Rosebud. Oh, Dylan's Rosebud is winning.
It was still so shocking. I did not expect that.
I have not been that shocked by a title change on Raw in a long time.
So my nephew, obviously, he goes to bed before Raw is over, and Io is like his favorite female wrestler, and my sister doesn't get to see it either because she's putting him to bed. So I had texted her because we were like, "Oh, Io's not winning," and I texted her, and I was like, so Io won," and then she was like, "Oh my God, what?" And I'm like, "I know."
Yeah,
I know. I was like, I did not think that was going to happen, and it did. So we got to watch it the next day so that my nephew could see it.
Good. I'm glad he got to see it. And his lemon is that either Jasmine Nix not being in 2K25 or Logan Paul just existing.
I get that. I get Logan Paul thing.
That was going to be my that was going to be another rosebud of mine too.
Logan Paul existing?
No, not that. The fact that on the fly he came up with coming out with the American flag after he found out that the crowd booed the national anthem. He's like, "Get me a flag."
I know.
That's heat. That's heat. That man knows.
I'm not impressed.
I'm sorry.
It's all low hanging fruit. It's just not
the fact that he came up with it.
Do you know how like low the bar is? If that's something that impresses you.
If it was like a regular superstar, like WWE superstar, I'm on your side.
You also are outsider. You're not 100% positive it was Logan. Logan will take credit for shit. Like
there's a video of it.
Well, still, I'm just saying, I'm not impressed. I knew the second he came out, I was like, oh, we know why he did this. I just was like,
it was awesome.
I don't know.
That's heat.
He doesn't even need it.
He doesn't, but he gets it. That's the one thing that a lot of people are not like that. He gets it. Sara winning the chamber. That was one thing the bad girl didn't get to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sara, if you turn on me at WrestleMania.
That would be funny. You'll have to wait and see.
Just a kick in the balls in the casino or at the watch or WWE World.
I throw my chicken tendies at you.
If you threw a chicken tender at me, I would eat it. Like I would
never waste a chicken tendy. So
well, I'm glad that you have that mindset. But I'm letting you know that you don't throw a chicken tender in my way and not expect it to not be eaten.
As long as they were as good as those ones we had last year at WWE Worlds, I would never.
Those were really good.
Where was it?
I
What
do
was it,
remember
like
that.
Pete's Chicken or something like that? They were everywhere.
There
Wasn't it?
were.
It was something like that. I don't
It's
know. They were
something like
everywhere
that.
in Philly.
Chicky and Pete's.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Chicky
yeah.
Pete's.
Chicken was.
It was so good. I had a lot of chicken and a lot of crab fries. A lot of crab fries.
Mm-hmm.
It's
But
so
I was
good.
like, that was one thing where
Cheese
I was like,
sauce. Oh
it
my
was
god.
okay. It was okay that they were everywhere because I was like, it's good. Yeah, it's
fine.
scrumptious.
Is he the greatest Clevelander of all time?
I mean,
pretty shit city.
well, someone might say it's LeBron, but
Yeah.
I mean,
But I'm not gonna debate that. That's not why I'm here. I am here to talk about what's going on around the Wrestleverse. Got a lot of shit happening. We have WrestleMania. We're on the road to it.
mm-hmm.
And then we got AEW Revolution this weekend, which
Saturday or Sunday? It's Sunday, right?
It's Sunday. And it's on Amazon Prime. AEW got I'm gonna put that banner. Hold on, let me get to a comment while I make this banner, please.
Jay wants to make sure we know this from both accounts. Logan is awesome and I'm a hater. He sent it on both accounts, just so we are sure that we saw it. I don't think I'm a hater just because I'm not a fan of somebody. But also, he's a very controversial figure outside of wrestling, and he says pretty terrible things and has done some pretty terrible things. So I feel like not liking Logan Paul is pretty warranted. Warranted. It's not just like, oh, I don't like him because I think he's ugly or something silly like that. It's like, no. He's been around the block for a while for me to make a fair judgment.
Vine.
Yes.
He's on Vine.
Yeah. So I feel like I have had enough experience seeing him outside of wrestling to have an opinion about him outside of that,
I do.
I give him credit for how he is in the ring. So it's like I can compliment him in that way.
I do. AEW signed a deal with Amazon Prime to have their PLEs, their pay-per-views on Amazon, streamed on Amazon.
That's a good deal, honestly.
Great deal.
So many people already, because this is the thing, I have Amazon Prime because I'm obsessed with Amazon. So it is cool that like with that Prime membership, you can watch television and games and television shows or whatever, because it's like, well, I don't have it for that reason, but it's a nice perk. No, and I think a lot more people are going to have Amazon Prime than like HBO Max or whatever.
Exactly. I would say 90% of America, of the world, has Amazon. It was announced yesterday, multi-year agreement to offer AEW pay-per-views for purchase to fans across the United States, Canada, and the UK, beginning with Revolution on Sunday. AEW's website says that the deal represents a significant evolution in the distribution of AEW's content, making AEW's cutting-edge pay-per-view events more accessible than ever to fans through Prime Video. And then it goes on and on. But he's he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing ain't wrong.
I hate to give Tony credit, but this is, it's a good deal because Amazon is so huge.
It's massive.
And again, this is not really, it is going to force people to pay a little bit, obviously, if they don't already have Amazon Prime, but so many people already use Amazon Prime, and you can pay it monthly or you can pay like a flat charge for the entire year. So it's not like, oh, then you have to go, if you're a WWE fan, you need to have Netflix and you need to have Peacock and you need to have this and you need to have that. It's like those are a bunch of extra charges that you might not have already been paying. But if you use Amazon enough and you're like, yeah, I want Amazon Prime, you're not paying anything more to be able to watch AEW. So
no, you're not. And you have Max. They stream every week on Max, and then you go right to Amazon. It's accessibility. The Triller TVs and Bleacher Report beforehand were fine because it was inaccessible. It was accessible. With Amazon, it's basically just taking a narrow door and knocking down the entire wall. You're pretty much giving anyone the opportunity to watch your product, and you still have that pay-per-view feel where they don't run as much as WWE. So for that fan base, it's worth it to pay that $50 or whatever it is for the show. And their style is it's not on that level yet. They only run like 6 pay-per-views a year. You know, they're not doing the 12 or even like 13 because of the Saudi shows that WWE is doing. So their model works for that. And AEW does deserve more eyes on the product. I'm not saying that should be the number one, but it does deserve more eyes than are already seeing it. So I'll give that. And then this is the only other AEW thing we talk about this week is predictions for Revolution. Sarah, obviously, we know you are the biggest AEW fan. Watch every week on Max, like myself. So I wanted to give our predictions because I will be watching. Maybe, I'll be watching some way, shape, or form. Why can't I find the card?
I'm also the
my
biggest
God.
Cope fan.
Yes, you love Cope.
Yeah, I've been calling him Cope for so long.
I want Cope. All right, so here we go. There's only 4. Okay, so we have the 0 hour. Their pre-show card is Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Big Boom AJ. I'm dead serious.
Oh my God.
He's bringing the boom to AEW. And they're taking on Johnny TV and the Maximum Male Models MXM collection. I got the baby faces, or Orange Cassidy, Briscoe, and all them winning.
Yeah, I don't see them handing the boom a loss yet.
No, he's gonna. Sarah, he's not that bad in the ring. He's not.
It's just cringe.
And it's so cringe, but he's so good at being a quote unquote like pro wrestler in how he does his promotional videos. The man knows ball. And AEW is kind of the perfect place for him, honestly. And next match is AEW Continental Championship between Okada and Brody King. I got Brody King. Let me write. I got Brody King in this one.
So he's gonna win the title?
I think Brody King could win it from Okada. Okada's been stale with it, and if you want positive results, you got to have positive thoughts.
Isn't it kind of crazy that Okada has kind of like, I'm not saying he's become irrelevant, but you like do not hear about him anymore.
He fell off. Yeah, I would agree.
We kind of predicted that.
Did we really?
We said that, or at least I did. I said I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like Okada comes in because he's like this big, gigantic signing, and that they like don't prioritize him or like they go hard at first and then do nothing. And that's kind of what they've done, which is shocking because that's not happened with Will Ospreay. But
yeah, Will Ospreay.
I'm going to say Okada retains.
Okay.
Just because I want to be different,
Yeah. Why?
And I don't know what the hell I'm saying. So
yeah, it's March.
Basically,
the one like filling out a college basketball bracket.
That one card I did was really good. I got like all but one wrong. All but one right. Sorry.
Yeah, that's insane. That is actually insane. Number 1 contenders match for the AEW World Championship. Swerve Strickland taking on Ricochet.
I think it's Swerve.
I got Swerve.
No, it's not time yet for Ricochet. Also, speaking of titles and stuff becoming irrelevant, giving it to Ricochet.
Oh, I mean, it's more. I'm thinking more in the sense that with the main event, whoever wins that, Ricochet going up against them, it's not something I'm interested in.
Well,
it's just like a one-off. I don't want to see a whole big thing about it. You
know what it makes me feel like? It's not necessarily a like super great comparison, but he kind of gives me the vibes of like Damian Priest. Like
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, like he could be in the main event, but like he seems like the outlier. Like you immediately are like, should he be in this match with these guys? Like, should he be getting a title shot? Like, this seems kind of weird. And then if they got the title, you're like, okay, I'm bored. That's just like kind of the vibe I get.
Yeah.
But
I don't. It's Swerve needs to go up against the Death Riders. Like that's next.
That makes sense.
See that.
That's up his alley for sure.
Hold on. What's next? Oh, MJF versus Hangman. I'm going MJF. I don't think MJF loses to Hangman in this one. This feels like a trilogy in the making.
Have they already fought?
No.
Oh.
No, this feels like this is going to be MJF's, 6, 9, 12 month saga, similarly to Mariah May, Tony Storm.
I'm going to go Hangman.
All right, let's ride.
Hangman wins the first one. MJF wins the next two.
All right, let's ride. We got the AEW World Tag Team Championship on the line. The Hurt Syndicate, who hurt people, Sarah.
I hate the name.
Taking on the Outrunners. Have you seen the Outrunners?
No.
Oh my God, Sarah, you gotta look them up. The Outrunners are a tag team that their gimmick is that they are wrestlers from the 80s. So everything they do is very 80s, from the vignettes being in that filter, that staticky type filter. Their clothes are so 80s. It's insane. Their workouts, the way they talk, like they're getting fired up like someone told them to say their prayers and eat their vitamins. They do it so well. You have no choice but to rally behind them.
I'm still picking the Hurt Syndicate, though.
I'm absolutely picking the Hurt Syndicate.
I hate that name so much.
Then we hurt people. We hurt people.
Is that their
so
song?
Good, though. No.
Oh.
Well, yes, it is. But the crowd chants it back to them. I'm in. It's great.
I just hate the Syndicate. I hate Syndicate. It just feels like, I don't know. I don't. It's not a vibe. It doesn't.
You feel like it feels forced.
Like it's like we know you want to be the Hurt Business, okay? We know.
Yeah, it's what, but that's copyright.
No,
that's what happens with copyright.
I get it.
And we got Mercedes Moné taking on Momo Wantabia. I don't know how to say that name. Someone
Mercedes.
Please tell me. I got Mercedes too. I unfortunately do. I see Mercedes dropping it to someone who's not a Japanese wrestler, who is an AEW signed person. So I would like it to be Harley Cameron, but beggars can't be choosers. Or Billy Starks. Honestly, Billy Starks or Athena feels like to me the plan is going towards Athena versus Mercedes at All In. We'd have to see, but Will Ospreay taking on Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match.
Ospreay.
Yeah.
Because Fletcher's leaving, right?
What? No.
Fletcher's leaving. That's what they were saying.
Were they really?
Yes. That he was leaving AEW or his contract was up soon.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, because people thought he was going to be WWE bound.
News. No, I don't see anything.
I saw people talking about it a couple weeks ago.
Okay. Well, I still got it.
I guess not.
Soraya's gone, Nathaniel. She's gone. They also just released her brother too, which talk about the most nepotism hire I've ever heard. We have the International Championship, Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. I'm going fandom here with my vote.
Who's
going
champion?
Full fandom. Takeshita is champion.
Okay. I'm saying Takeshita is. Okay. Or as I said it that one time, Takashita.
Takashita. You know what? Sometimes wrestlers' names are hard, Sarah.
Well, when they're in another language, I try my best to be respectful. That's why usually I'll try not to say it at all until I know how it's said. Just because people can twist it into being something that it's not,
We got the Women's World Championship match, Toni Storm versus Mariah May. I'm picking Toni. And this also should main event. It's not going to, but it should. We're going to get a real Hollywood ending.
Do you think it's time for Mariah to be done? Or like this is the end of her versus Toni?
Oh, it's the end of her versus Toni. It's been a year long. They started at Revolution last year.
Then I guess I would say it then Toni then too.
You're going to say Toni. Maybe Mariah May takes, if she doesn't win this, maybe she goes for the TBS championship because she wants a gold. She had a taste of the championship and wants more of it and finds more. I don't know. There's so many different avenues you can go down. But I got Toni Storm. Toni Storm is easily the one of the best top 5 women's wrestlers right now in every facet. And then the main event, Jon Moxley versus Cope for the AEW World Championship.
The
Death Riders. So the story goes that Cope took out every one of the Death Riders to get Mox alone. And Mox last night cut probably one of the best promos I've heard in a very long time from him about how you got him all alone. That was your biggest mistake, is because that they were holding me back from you. Amazing. I don't see Cope dethroning Mox. There's a longer game with this, and Cope is just being the guy right now to, as the vet, whatnot, to go up against Mox first. So I got Mox.
I would love to see all of the rest of the group just come out like zombies, like all beat up in like a
Wheeler left last night. He lost against Cope and then shook his hand, and Cope said that this is what respect is, and Mox lost it on Wheeler. Wheeler then just shoves Mox in the face and then walks away from him. I have a feeling Wheeler Yuta is going to come back to help Mox win because Cope didn't take him out technically. So those are our predictions. I will post those. I might just post straight up like this. Why not? Fuck it. It's my brand and it's nonsense. You know what else is nonsense, Sarah?
What?
No, I don't want to talk about that. Well, we kind of did. Did we talk about this? Yeah, like kind of. With my Rosebud. Okay. I'm just thinking of videos to cut and whatnot. What is nonsense? We'll just go down. No, this. Let's talk about this first.
Okay, geez Louise.
Cody Rhodes potentially being injured by Travis Scott at Elimination Chamber. Conrad Thompson made the news headlines today by saying that he actually checked in on Cody, and Cody said that Travis Scott didn't even touch him, then he got a weird bruise.
Yeah, he's covering 100%. For him.
100%. However, what I am being optimistic about is that the busted eardrum is not true, and that he just busted him.
Well, and it's kind of tricky because like a busted eardrum is pretty bad. Like that's pretty serious. So like, I hope that that's not true for that case too. Because like, I don't think that will necessarily do anything. Like that's not going to stop Cody from being at Mania or something. But like, that's not a good look for Travis, but also not great for Triple H for allowing that to happen. Because it's like, we get it. Like they were like, oh, like Travis has been training to be a wrestler, whatever. And it's like, okay, but if he did what we saw was pretty bad. Like it looked like he was green and did not understand that you don't actually like hurt each other. To then see like, oh, he could have potentially really injured the WWE champion just weeks before Mania. Not great. So
no, it's not.
There's a lot riding on whatever his injury is, and hopefully it's not serious. He'll be there no matter what. Like that's not a concern, but it's like really unfortunate that he's dealing with something like that, potentially as serious as that, on the road to WrestleMania when we just got this like gigantic part of the story, so
to me it just adding more like piling it on. It's more just piling it on to the whole heel turn. Cena beats his ass, and then he's left no one to trust. And of all things to happen, Travis Scott is the one who gives him the true black eye. And it's not, the belt busted him open, but even Travis Scott, who was just saging the whole thing, the whole ring in the back, gets the best punch. It's just, in that regard, it's just wild to me. And
how do you feel about him being involved at all?
oh, it makes sense. I have no problem with it.
Well, how does it make sense?
He has the theme song for two of the shows.
But that they
Pop culture icon.
Is he a pop culture icon?
Or no, I'm sorry. I'm using icon because we're talking wrestling. He's a one of the top rappers in the world. So a pop culture celebrity that will get the common fan to watch, and it's someone that it's that fan who watch whatnot. So I have no problem with it, and he's into it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of celebrities that come in and just want to do it to get their name out and level up, where I genuinely think he's doing it because he thinks it's fun. I saw the video of him afterwards, how hyped up he was after being in the ring. He should
maybe bring some of that energy when he's actually out in front of the people, because he looked like he was like so high that he had no idea what was going on. Like he was just like so like in the corner.
That's his gimmick. Sorry, that's his gimmick.
All right, whatever. Yeah.
There's
whatever.
There's a guy on the indies. He wrestles for GCW that he's like he smoked.
Wow, that's so weird. Is his name Matt Riddle?
No, it's someone that's like, it's more of a ridiculous gimmick of Stoner Bro than Matt Riddle. Like, it's more in your face.
Well, that's obnoxious.
What is he called? Someone in the comments, please tell me, because it's going to annoy me.
I have no idea. So
the word that comes to me is Ganja Gremlin, but I know that's not it.
Oh God, that's terrible.
All right, it's not it. That's just a funny name from Fantasy Football League. WWE launched a YouTube channel for WCW videos today, which is fantastic, Sarah. It's so nice. You put this up here, and you also had a quote tweet that of you recalling Scott Hall's intro when he invaded WCW for his first night. Did you watch, like, my memory of WCW comes more from watching old stuff and watching documentaries, podcasts about it. I have very little memories of watching the product live.
Yeah.
I mean, 99% of the reason being my age.
Same.
Which does suck, because the lasting memories I have are like that weird logo after AOL took over. I didn't get to experience the good times.
Yeah.
During like the NWO at its peak, and everyone's talking about the cruiserweights and how they put on incredible matches. It just sucks sometimes when your age limits you in what you've seen live in your experience.
Well, that was kind of my problem, but also it wasn't that I didn't have access to it necessarily. It was that I was like 8-9 years old, and my mom was not interested in me watching professional wrestling when it was like super edgy and controversial and sexualized and whatever. So like I got to watch wrestling very few and far between. So a lot of it was when I would spend time at my aunt's house. And again, that's not something that we were doing every single week, so a lot of what I saw was also like after the fact, or like if I got to catch like a random episode because I happened to be at my aunt's house on Monday, like that kind of thing. So yeah, my NWO love was like more so coming from when they joined WWE, because was when I was finally able to like watch a little bit more consistently. So
yeah, I didn't get to see that era. It was 2002, 2003, like when Cena was Basic Thugonomics is basically when I started back into it. Because that was the thing, like I watched obviously early 2000s with the Rock stuff and like the back tail of Attitude Era because I had the Rock, like the WWE home videos, and even 2000, like the weird WCW guys that came in, like Raven and Rhino, post invasion angle.
Yeah.
And then kicking back at like 04 or like that era is like the glory days to me in a sense.
Yeah, like when you were finally able to watch, WCW wasn't a thing anymore.
Exactly. And the worst part is that ECW was WWECW, which sucked.
Yeah.
So in our case, it's watching old stuff and circling back to the whole point of this. It's awesome that WWE is just giving us a YouTube channel full of it, because a lot of shit that happened in WCW was trash. There's a lot of stuff about it, but there was a lot of good there too that should be watched and shown to, the wrestling fan that's our age or even younger that wants to know more about history, the history of it, so that know what you're talking about for future shit.
Well, and I think it also is like a good barometer of like how far we've come, or just like what was a big deal then, and kind of comparing it to how things are now. I don't know. I feel like it's like in 20 years, people are going to look back on this era, and they're going to be like, oh man, I wish that I could have been there when Cody Rhodes won the title, or when Roman Reigns had the title for almost 4 years. Like, it's the same thing. Like, people are always going to look back at it and wish that they could have been of an age that they saw it, or, like, oh wow, what were they doing? And like, how did we get to this point? And they go back into 2025 and it's like, oh wow, and I don't think that, and that's the thing, is I feel like a lot of people put pressure on fans to have been there when something happens. And I think that we have way too much access to things from the past to say that like someone cannot be educated on the product from before they were watching, because they weren't alive yet or they didn't have access to it. Like, that doesn't mean that you aren't aware of what happened or you're not a fan of what happened in the past, because I'm a big NWO fan, a big Scott Hall fan, and just because I wasn't able to watch wrestling in 1994 when Razor Ramon was killing it doesn't mean that like I didn't become a fan of his, or that I'm somehow not legitimate because I wasn't watching when I was 4 years old, So I think that's something that's really good about a channel like the WCW channel, because yes, that's going to give so many people more access, showing their kids, like people our age, like showing their kids, like, this is the stuff I grew up watching, like that's pretty cool.
Want to see Rey Mysterio when he was young and having matches with Eddie Guerrero?
Oh my god, my sister is obsessed with him in WCW.
See that?
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, yeah. Sarah, take us away with this, because
okay. So I wanted to talk about this just because I think that I don't think it's wrong, but I think a lot of people have kind of like romanticized the current era that we're in, specifically since Triple H has taken over and people are under the impression that like everything is great, like there are no issues backstage, the talent are all extremely happy, blah blah blah. And obviously that's delusional, because that's not how life is. Like no one is ever just like, skating through life and avoiding issues. And nobody's perfect, not even Triple H. Even if you agree with a lot of what the product is on a weekly basis, that doesn't mean anything. So with some of the more recent releases, I would say more specifically Sonya Deville and Carmella, they're definitely speaking out and kind of giving you a behind the scenes look at like how these things came about. And Sonya, for instance, was saying that they were actively in talks to extend her, to like give her a new contract, and then they just abruptly said, by the way, yeah, we're releasing you. And so it was like that's her account. I'm not saying that it is 100% factual and that's how it went down. I'm just saying that that's what she said. And Carmella was saying that since she got pregnant, basically that they kind of had ghosted her, like she wasn't hearing anything, and then she was just released. And it was more so like not released. I think her contract expired.
They didn't re-up her contract. She was not
Yeah.
released. They just didn't re-sign her.
Yeah. And of course she's not thrilled. And she's just been speaking out about it. And I don't know. I think that it's some of the things, especially about the women. There's been the reports about the women are not exactly thrilled with their matches or how much effort is being put into their storylines and their feuds and whatever, especially compared to the men. So then hearing things like this from Carmella and Sonya is just a little disheartening, I would think, because we as in women have longed for the women's division to be treated as close to equally as possible to the men, and it feels like they've made so many strides. Obviously they've introduced so many new women's championships. They are main eventing episodes of Raw and SmackDown. They are arguably in the conversation for main events of PLEs, and so obviously that's a huge change and a significant move in the right direction, but there's still so much work to be done. And so then when you hear things like this, I don't think it's necessarily unique. Sonya Deville is not the only one that was probably abruptly released and didn't see it coming. Obviously that's going to happen, like, unfortunately. The Carmella stuff is a little bit more like, oh, that sucks. But I'm also like not entirely surprised that she's complaining, because she's also married to Corey Graves.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, she's married. Like, you got to see who she's with, and also, it's an emotional response. It seems like it's not being like, you have to think that. Hold on, let me back up. It's an emotional response, obviously, and what is going on in WWE right now? No one's saying where's Carmella, and that's the biggest takeaway from this, is no one's saying where's Carmella, to the point where you're having WWE officials asking her to come back. The other thing that's a really key component to this is that she was dealing with other medical issues, not injuries, medical issues, and
stemming from her birth, the pregnancy.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's not that they were releasing her, which that would be fucked. They just didn't re-up her contract. And it's been what, 2 years, 3 years? Like, you have to grow as a company, and if there's not, it's a business decision, and business decisions are not the most nurturing. They're very cold, but that's just business.
Yeah, and I think it's like a lot has changed since she was last around. And I saw some people saying like, well, oh, WWE has outgrown her. I don't know that I would say I would go that far, but they already do have a lot of women on the roster that they are not properly using. So then adding another person in there like Carmella, who either would be treated the same, or she would come in and immediately step over all of those other girls who have been around for the last 3 years and aren't being utilized. Like, that's not a good look either necessarily. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's no matter your opinion on like what they're saying or how truthful all of it is, which we'll never know. I think that just like the general idea of these negative things coming out from the women or about the women's division is like super frustrating. You know, as a fan of women's wrestling, which I'm sure a lot of people are, it's not just women, you don't want to hear these things, because it seemed like everything was going well and Triple H was running like a solid ship, and then it's like it feels like when it rains it pours, because like everything that just started, like one person came out and made a report, you know, the women's division is not thrilled with what's going on, and then it was like it's just kept coming. Like there was just more reports of like, oh, this and this and this, and then there were these releases or they didn't re-sign them, and it's like this is just adding to it. So I just kind of hope that we don't keep going down this road and that they get better with it.
You take the good, you take the bad, and that you get the facts of life. Cora Jade is okay, guys. She had a scary moment on Tuesday night facing Jordynne Grace, where she was hitting the head. Everyone thought it was her knee, but she was hitting the head during the match, and they had to throw the X, which means stop it, shut it down. She goes back, everything's all good, and it was not a work. All right, this legit happened. When you throw the X, it means you got to shut it down. But I will say before I get your thoughts on it, it was really bad timing for the people who thought it was a work, because immediately following that, the stoppage, Jordan Grace is getting attacked by Roxanne Perez backstage. So you could think like, oh, she's sticking up for her friend and all that. Like,
yeah,
if that's where your mind goes. Obviously, we know better. That's why we have the intelligence we do. So we know that's just terrible timing. Terrible timing. And like, I don't know. I just crazy. But glad to see she's okay. And she does have a big match coming up at what's
Roadblock?
it's TNA. No, it's TNA's. Oh shit. The name's escaping me, but she is at the next TNA pay-per-view. She's taking on Masha Slamovich for the TNA Knockouts Championship.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's not her knee or something, because right when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, she's really getting the
sacrifice.
No. What was her name? Tegan Knox. She's getting the Tegan Knox treatment. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my God, this girl just came back from an ACL and now she tore her ACL again. So I'm glad to see that, obviously I'm not glad that she had a head injury, but it's a lot better, I feel like, than what it could be. So hopefully it won't sideline. Yeah. So hopefully it won't sideline her for too long. But yeah, glad that it wasn't what people thought it was. Like, talk about bad timing.
Terrible timing. But we're glad to see she's okay. And yeah. She also unfollowed Becky Lynch on Instagram.
Is it because of what Becky said?
Yeah, her and Roxanne both unfollowed Becky Lynch on Instagram.
Is that a work or?
I don't know. I just saw it. I'm just telling you what I observed.
It's kind of sad, but whatever.
You know what? That's what happens when you're 20-year-old girls online.
I guess.
Petty shit.
And your idol is CM Punk, and how dare anyone say anything bad about him?
This is a cult of personalities. Liv Morgan fans are upset that we potentially are getting a triple threat match for the Women's World title at WrestleMania. And what triple threat are we alluding to? Well, it is Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley. Sarah, I am not on the fan side. I'm not on the Liv Morgan fan side with this. They should not be upset about this.
I'm not really either. Like, to an extent, I kind of understand, because Liv was the champion. She loses the title to Rhea. Rhea then only has it less than 2 months, then drops it, and then she's seemingly going to be in that match at WrestleMania. And so it feels like, okay, well, Liv could have remained champion, or she could have gone against Rhea for the title at Mania, even if it did become a triple threat. And I'm guessing that that's kind of where their frustration comes from. But I think that if you were even, I'm a big Liv Morgan fan, so I understand you want to stand up for your girl. But I feel like it's hard not to argue that her and Rhea, it didn't work. It went on too long. They didn't do right, in my opinion, by Liv. I feel like that she deserved a better title reign, and a lot of it was because she was stuck in the Judgment Day and Rhea Ripley vortex, so she didn't really get a proper shot. And it's like, when it ended, I hated it simply because Liv lost, and then she just didn't care about the title anymore. But I was predicting it was going to go on until Mania, and I'm glad it's not. I'm sure most Liv fans would agree that they're glad that they're not having to deal with Liv and Rhea on a weekly basis. Now we have Liv doing stuff with Raquel, probably going to have a tag match at Mania. Like, at least she's still doing something, and she's still being recognized as a champion. And Triple H just spoke very highly of her after the Elimination Chamber show last week. So, she seems like she's in a good position. I get that you want to see her in a potential main event of Mania, but it's not in the cards this year. And to be honest, I don't know that I'd want to see her in a triple threat match, because it feels like no one would really even be hyped about her. They'd be hyped about Rhea, Io, or Bianca, so that feels kind of more that feels worse, I feel, for Liv and her fans.
Yeah, her fans should be happy that she's defending her tag team titles. She's a champion. guys. Like yeah, she lost one title, but she gained another,
Mhm.
and her and Raquel can finally have that title reign and tag team that they should have had before Raquel got injured and has her whole issues. So,
Mhm.
and they're great together. They you can tell it's great.
Yeah.
And then to wrap it up. Wow, long day, Sarah. Long day. It was announced today that the WWE will be bringing back the Evolution PLE, the all women's pay-per-view or show. I mean, and they don't have Sarah. It was just that they don't have a
A date
time.
or
They
anything.
don't have a
Yeah.
date, but it is in the works. We are going to get an Evolution 2, which is well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it, and I've been saying that I feel like they're more equipped now to have an all-female PLE than I think they were the first time, because they relied a lot on bringing in legends and stuff like that the first time, similar to like how they're in a better position now for the women's rumble and not having to bring back like half of the people being legends. They're definitely packed on the main roster and in NXT, where they can have the matches like mean something and be something that people are actually looking forward to, instead of just, oh, I'm going to watch this because it's an all women PLE and I just want to see them have fun. Like, no, I want to see girls like kicking ass and like putting on really, really great matches and like actually being showcased in the way that we feel like they deserve. I just always am concerned about the reaction from the fans, because they are brutal when it comes to women's wrestling. And no matter how good the specific wrestler is or how good a match is, they're just brutal. So because a lot of people were not too fond of the first one, I'm just a little bit concerned about the overall reaction to it coming back, and like how supportive people are going to be. Like, I'll be supportive, I'll watch it, and I hope that people have grown since the first time and can
I would
acknowledge.
assume so.
Yeah, like obviously the roster is so much better than it was when they did this the first time. So like it's going to be a lot better, and I just hope it's received that way, because I think a lot of the time people want to see something and then once they get it they don't want it. We've talked about that. What are they?
Oh yeah. Oh, what are they, Sarah?
Fickle. They're fickle.
Yes. So I hope that won't be the issue when this is eventually announced to be coming. I'm just worried about it. That's all.
Me too. Hold on.
Go fuck yourself.
For real. If somebody wants to like boost my serotonin, just play that clip. Okay.
I'm obsessed. I've watched that whole segment probably 100 times.
I know. I specifically just seek that clip out, if we're being honest. Because it's also like the way he says it. It's like he like emphasizes the fuck, and I'm just so here for it. Because when I picture and like think about like my precious little Cody, like he doesn't talk like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's my little precious baby Cody. Like, he's just a sweet little boy. And then you hear him say that kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, he's a bad boy. You know,
he can be a bad boy.
He's naughty. Have you seen that episode of Impractical Jokers when Sal is asking that guy at the store? He's like, "Are you being naughty?" And the guy's like, "Ha ha ha, you're funny." And he keeps me like, "You're so naughty."
Yeah.
Me and my sister will always say that to each other. I was like, "You're being naughty." It's also because the way he says it, because he's from New York. But it's like the guy gets all creeped out because he just keeps me like, "You're so naughty."
That shows all time.
Yeah, when they were all together.
Yeah, the four of them.
Now it's shit. But
when Joe made Sal get a Jaden Smith tattoo.
He had two.
I had two now, but I'm saying the OG one.
I know.
Like, incredible.
That's why you never do stuff like that. You don't ever make bets or anything like that.
I would like to get a tattoo, I will say.
I don't. Never.
I would get a tattoo, just not of Jaden. Jada Willow Smith.
Good to know.
All right, I'm just putting some finishing touches on this because we got the 1, 2, 3 count. Star 20 questions to start us off. SmackDown Superstars between 2002 and 2007.
I have one.
Okay. Male or female?
Male.
Blonde or brunette?
Brunette.
Did they wrestle when Paul Heyman was GM?
What year was that?
Oh, like 2004. 2004-ish.
Yes.
Like
I believe
early
so.
2003, 2004.
Yes.
Is it Zach Gowen?
Yes. What the fuck?
What?
God.
That was unreal.
How did you guess Zach Gowen? Because you were like, who is Sarah gonna pick? It's gonna be the most random person.
No, that was the first person that came to mind.
God.
That was awesome. All right.
Why are you thinking about Zach Gowen like that?
I don't know.
Okay, do you have somebody?
I do.
Okay. Male or female?
Male.
Blonde or brunette?
Brunette.
Long hair?
Yes. When he was a wrestler, yes.
When he was a wrestler.
Because now he doesn't. So, but
is
like,
it JBL?
It is not.
Dang. Was he ever a WWE champion?
No.
Was he around for a long time?
Yes.
Was he wrestling when Paul Heyman was a GM?
He was.
Okay. He doesn't have long hair now.
No.
But he used to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think who cut their hair. The people I'm thinking of are dead. So I'm like, it's not them.
I'll give you this one. He's alive.
Oh right yeah, now. No, I assume.
I'm gonna give you that.
Did he have long hair his entire
wrestling career? Yes.
Okay, he did. Was he known for being in a tag team?
Yes.
Like that's what he's mostly known for?
Not mostly. He was in a famous tag group faction.
Okay.
But he's also known by him just being a single star. Or a wrestler, not star.
And he's a brunette?
His hair color is brunette, yes. It's not Brian Kendrick, Dylan. You're at 9.
It's not, is it? It's not Shawn Michaels.
No, it's not. I'm not even going to kick. No, because SmackDown.
Not Triple H?
It's not Triple H.
Rhino still has long hair, right?
Kind of. Not really, though.
Is it Rhino?
No, you're more on the track. Go this way with the card, if that makes sense. Go this way.
Go down?
Go down when thinking of star power.
Is this somebody that I would know?
You would know this person 100%. Yes. If you throw Zach Gowen at me, you know who this person is.
Man. Oh, Funaki?
Yes.
Woo! I just was thinking. Yeah.
Hell yeah, Sarah.
That took me way too long.
I mean,
you know what's crazy? What happened to Taka?
I think he went back to Japan.
Did he? I need to know. I need to know now. I feel like we all remember. I fucking hated him in No Mercy, by the way.
I think he was so good.
He was annoying in that game.
He's more of a 2000s guy. While you're looking that up, I'm going to ask you off the rip, what is your greatest WrestleMania match, or what you think, not fandom wise, but what you think is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, because WWE are doing their 50 greatest WrestleMania matches in lieu of WrestleMania 41. And the last one, I'm pretty sure, last one I saw was like, let me see. I'm going to look this up quick. But they're doing their top countdown.
Yeah, their list so far is shit.
Yeah,
some of the ones that they've picked were horrible.
Well, I saw some. It just, to me, was very weird.
I want to see Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels for the IC title.
We haven't got that.
No, they're still in the 40s.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think they're counting down till Mania or the day before Mania or something. I think that's their goal.
What if they do something like that at WWE Worlds?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like it because it's like they're only in the 40s. So it's like, it feels like, yeah, because there's 40 something days until Mania. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're 10 hours ago. Number 42 was announced, and it was Edge and Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22. 43 was Shawn Michaels Cena at 23.
It was just like they had Triple H and Shawn Michaels on there, like that. Or I'm sorry, Triple H and Seth Rollins, like that wasn't. Didn't they have a Goldberg match on there too? And you're like, what the fuck, bro?
45 is Undertaker Batista at 23, which it was
they really like
good.
Mania 23.
23 was really good. Yeah, 44. The 44th greatest was Triple H Seth Rollins, which that was a banger match. That entrance from Triple H was
Triple H. I fucking hated Triple H once he started to be like more involved with backstage stuff and he wasn't just like a pure wrestler, because every single year you knew the budget for entrances was on Triple H. No one else ever got a cool entrance, but you were guaranteed Triple H had one. I fucking hated him because I was like, I always looked forward to the Mania entrances, and then he would just spend all the money on him, and I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, you're not pushing away those people who hate that you are like married to the CEO's daughter, you know, like you're not proving that you don't get preferential treatment.
Yeah. I loved his entrances. They were awesome.
The one of him with Stephanie on the back of the quad. Oh my God. Stephanie looked so good.
She did look really
and I don't even like girls, but like I can admire a beautiful woman. Okay. And Stephanie looked so good and all the leather and that high ponytail and shit. I was like, girl, this is the way that you come back on WWE television. That is the way that you be like, this is my man. And look at me. I have 3 babies.
On the back of a motorcycle.
Yeah, girl.
Like, ridiculous.
Loved it.
3 to wrap it off. I wanted to end with the DLC packs because a lot of people are pissed off that their favorite is not in the DLC or like the Hardys or some. I mean, we saw one in the comments already. He was pissed that Jasmine Nix wasn't in it. So like they're mad, and here's why. So they're mad that one of the packs, it's the Duncan Destruction. It's gonna be Abyss, which Abyss TNA guy, and Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin TNA people are in it. They're mad that 3 NBA stars are going to be in it. Which, let me tell you, Sarah, it's a video game, okay? If you're mad, like, if there's a time to like have this type of thing where crossover, yeah, you do it in a video game with NBA, who also their game is made by 2K. So why are you getting so upset about that? Be happy that the fact that we're getting New Jack is going to be in 2K. That is well deserved. You're never going to hear him on WWE television or, on Netflix, because the man was, we'll say, a unique character in the Wrestleverse. He was a unique character. This is the time and opportunity where you can honor him in the best way possible. They need to have him have his entrance, though, from ECW. And I saw something that I don't think they're going to do it, but I was dying at this tweet. They're saying that if his entrance doesn't play throughout the entire match, I don't want it. I was like, I mean,
I
would love it, but
I understand some gripes for people. Obviously, like if you're going to be spending the amount of money that you need to spend to buy a game, and then you have to buy the DLCs and stuff like that. Like, I get that you're not going to be thrilled with certain people not being in the game, but I think we also need to be aware that like they're not going to have like every single random person on the roster that not many people know, or they're not on TV much or something. Like, they're not going to be in there. I think I take more of an issue when it's like certain legends aren't in the game. You know what I mean? Where it's like
people are pissed off about that.
But I mean, the good thing is about those kinds of things is that people are actually insane with how good they are at creating them and like adding them to the gallery. So you can have those people in your game even if they weren't officially in the game. You know what I mean? People are really good at doing that. So you know, you can find virtually anyone. Like, look at what you were doing when you were doing the nonsense stuff. I mean, people made SpongeBob and like.
Oh my God, we're bringing that back.
So
Sarah,
like,
we're bringing that back. Like, you can do exactly. You can do the community creations, and that's, you know, it's not the same and it doesn't have the same feel, but it's something. It's better than nothing, you know. And with that, you just mentioned that I'm doing something like that in 2K25. We'll probably do it like not as many nonsensical guys like the Ninja Turtles and Avengers and all that. A little bit more strategic with it, but I want to do a lot of stuff with 2K and stream it. Whether I'm just streaming me doing showcase or going through the My Rise and whatnot. I just want to stream 2K because I don't know, I want to do it. So be on the lookout for that when I buy the game next week, because can't buy it now. Need to get paid first. You guys can help me get paid. You know how? Hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live, and support the channel. Obviously, check out our clips from previous episodes where we talked about other stuff and whatnot. And follow us on all social media platforms down below. All right. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. And remember, you can do it. All you got to do is try. We'll see you this weekend. Peace.